Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Manchester United versus Aston Villa. As you all know, Manchester United just narrowly beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-0, Marcus Rashford, a deflected goal. It wasn't the best game in the world. It was quite boring if I'm honest, but we got the win, which is the most important thing. Now Wolves set up quite deep when we played against them, and I imagine that's kind of typically what they're going to do until they get a striker in January. I think them missing Raul Jimenez kind of makes them play that way, and obviously we saw that they're trying to break on the counter with pace, which typically works against Manchester United. It's typically a good tactic. But there was one change in our defence, which was Eric Bailly. Now I think he was key to Maguire. Maguire looked much better because Eric Bailly was playing, and I think Eric Bailly coming into this team, he sometimes looks a bit suspect, but I think what he does with his pace, where he comes in behind and he'll catch the runner, catch up to them, or intercept the ball, stop teams from breaking. And even against a player like Adama Traore, who is one of the fastest and strongest players in the league, we kept them quiet. So Villa had just played Chelsea. I think they were away from home. I could be wrong. A point away from home's great. Now look, the header from Giroud was absolutely brilliant, and the goal that Villa scored, I think it was El Ghazi, wasn't the best. The keeper probably should have done better, but at the end of the day, they got a point away from home at Chelsea, which is, you'd say it's a good result, but to be honest with you, Chelsea haven't been great at the minute, and Villa have been really good. Let's talk about our lineup. So first of all, David De Gea goes in net. I don't think there's really many arguments about that. You just go with consistency at the minute. Dean Henderson's great. I think David De Gea is better. He's really come into form, and I think although we're paying a lot of money for him to sit on the bench, I think Dean Henderson coming in, it's kind of been worth the money we've paid for him because of how much better David De Gea's got with that competition. He looks re-energised, and I think it's really helped us throughout this season, picking up a lot of points. He's made a lot of crucial saves. I picked Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. I think his positioning is sometimes a little bit suspect. He can sort of come forward to close down a player, and another one will run in behind him. That seems to happen quite a bit more recently. He could just be fatigued. He also sort of crushes in next to the centre-backs, and I don't know if that's because Lindelof doesn't have the pace and he's sort of running in behind to do a last-ditch tackle. He does that a lot and it works well, but I think there's a lot more negatives of playing that way that you sort of get with him doing that versus the positives of him sort of just being where he should be. I think he causes more problems being tighter going forward. Look at, was it Angelino a while ago at Leipzig, cost us the game. Essentially Wan-Bissaka's positioning and him being too close and moving around seems a bit harsh, but you never know, we could be in the Champions League now if that's a bit harsh, maybe I won't go there. I think Eric Bailly and Maguire as your two centre-back pair, I think they're, at the moment, they look really, really good together. Maguire looks like a different player. He looks a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident, and I think he's not worrying about somebody running in behind him with the pace that he's lacking, whereas he might have been doing so if Lindelof was next to him. I think Eric Bailly complements him perfectly. Eric Bailly can run in behind and stop them balls coming through. You've seen it with Wolves. Wolves sat deep and hit us on the counter. Typically that would work against us. That we typically struggle against teams that do that because we don't have pacey centre-backs. If our full-backs are pushing forward, Lindelof isn't going to catch anyone. Harry Maguire isn't going to catch anyone either. So I think Bailly and Maguire, great partnership. Let's keep them in the team. At left back, I'd probably go with Shaw over Telles. I think Ollie's kind of switching them around at the minute. I think Shaw might have been injured and he's kind of maybe slowly getting Shaw back into the team. I think Shaw, when he came on against Wolves, we looked a lot more secure. And I think the balls that you get with Telles sort of benefit Cavani more than anyone else. I think occasionally Rashford might get up and, you saw the miss that he had against, I think it was Wolves, where he just blazed it over the bar. Luke Shaw's crossing where he cuts it back and like hammers it across sort of into the box. I think defensively what Shaw gives us, and him going forward, he's decent going forward, he's good going forward, I'd say as well. I think Luke Shaw's the better pick. So going into that midfield, and hear me out on this one, I'd play McTominay and Fred. The reason being, I feel like if you play Matic and Pogba, I feel like they're a lot slower and not as energetic. I feel like we need the energy in that midfield. If you look at the game against Leeds, the last time I think McTominay and Fred played together, I could be completely wrong on that. I think I might have missed a game, but the last time I can remember them two playing together, 6-2, which was with Lindelof playing centre-back as well. I feel like if Bailly was playing at the back, maybe we might not have conceded a goal. Can't remember though. Back to these two. If you play McTominay and Fred together, I feel like the energy they give you running around is a lot more beneficial. I feel like Fred closing down players. Fred's very good at stopping counter-attacks from happening, tactical fouls, all that sort of stuff. I feel like Matic can sometimes get ran past because his legs have gone a little bit. Maybe you play Matic and Fred anyway and let Fred do all the running, but I'd go with McTominay and Fred. It worked against Leeds. I feel like if you were to put Aston Villa on sort of like a scale between Wolves and Leeds, I feel like they'd be closer to Leeds in terms of how they're attacking. Again, it's to do with Wolves not having a striker, not really having an outlet, and having to rely on the pace of their forwards on the counter. McTominay and Fred would go in the middle. So going into the front four, I think the first player that you can say that picks himself is Bruno Fernandes. We've gone from losing to, I think it was Burnley when before Bruno came in. I think we might, I don't know how far down we were on the table, it was ridiculously low. Looking like we'd struggled to get into Europa. I think we were definitely in the bottom half of the table. Bruno Fernandes comes in and we push and get third position. It was absolutely insane. Bruno Fernandes is the most important player in the team. We need to play Bruno Fernandes. I think Marcus Rashford picks himself as well. I feel like Rashford's really important with the pace. I feel like if Rashford could finish a little bit better, he'd potentially be one of the best forwards in the world. And I don't say that lightly. I feel like Marcus Rashford has absolutely everything. He gets past players, his runs, his footballing intelligence. The only problem with Marcus Rashford as a forward, which is funny to say, is his finishing. You look at his potential and what he did against Leipzig when his finishing was on form. Imagine if he could do that constantly. And then obviously Cavani's had this ban, so he won't be able to play against Villa. I'd start Martial anyway. I feel like Martial against Leeds again was very important, got 3 assists and did very well in the game. I feel like Martial's sort of like the unsung hero a lot with Manchester United. He gets 3 assists but doesn't score, and people are a bit like, your striker should be doing more. You look at Firmino at Liverpool. I feel like Firmino gets a lot of the plaudits that Martial sort of misses out in. I feel like Firmino maybe is, or was, Liverpool have dropped off a little bit, but maybe Firmino was doing it better than Martial is, but I feel like Martial doesn't get enough credit for what he's doing in the Manchester United team. Martial's movement and the understanding he has with Rashford's really important. I feel like he could be really important for us against Villa, and I feel like he can be really important against Burnley and City if we play City because of COVID. And I feel like Martial has a little bit of pressure on his shoulders with Cavani coming in, but he can really take these 3 games by the scruff of the neck and give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a headache for the Liverpool game. I think Cavani's missed games will be this one against Villa, City, and then Burnley that's been rescheduled. So that means that Cavani could play against Liverpool. Now you'd expect if Martial's playing and playing well, he would start against Liverpool. So it's a big opportunity for him. So this last position on the right is sort of a difficult one that I've been umming and ahhing about. I feel like Greenwood, when he's playing and he's on it, he looks impactful, he looks dangerous, and he can always score. But I think at the moment, Greenwood isn't looking the best. He's not looking really on form. He did a great ball to Wolves that Bruno Fernandes nearly scored. But apart from that, he's starting to get it back. He's starting to get the momentum back, and he's starting to look a better player. Or Dan James, who the pace and Aston Villa playing further forward, Dan James' pace could really help us on the counter. You'd never play Dan James against Wolves because they'd be so far back, but Dan James against Villa it's possible when they're coming forward. But I think I'd go with Greenwood. I feel like you keep the momentum going with Greenwood. He's starting to get better. His confidence is slowly coming back. Put Greenwood up front. I think Greenwood, Rashford and Martial is the future of the front 3, with of course Bruno Fernandes in that team. When Bruno came in, they were the 3 players that were with him when we went on that amazing run and got 3rd. I feel like that might be the 3 going forward. Cavani's a great option, and I feel like Cavani adds so much. But you look at the game against Wolves, and I feel like maybe Martial would have added something different. My score prediction for the game is 3-1. I fancy Martial to get a goal. I think Bruno will get a couple of assists as well as usual. I think Villa will score though. I feel like they'll fancy going forward and attacking us, which will open up opportunities. And again, which is why I think we'll score 3 goals, which would mean that we would go level on points at the top of the Premier League, level with Liverpool, because of course goal difference. Our defence has been leaking a lot of goals. Really, that needs to change, and I feel like this partnership with Bailly and Maguire could work. It won't work. I'll tell you why it won't work, because Eric Bailly will be injured in the next month. It's just the sad truth of Eric Bailly. He's a great player, in my opinion, when he's playing and he has a run of games. He starts getting better and better and better, and you're like, right, we're looking like we're having something here and then he gets injured. So that's my prediction for the game. Let me know down in the comment section what score you think the game will be. Do you agree with my starting lineup or would you go with something different? Thank you for watching.